Our black viewers, you are most welcome to our channel called Mountain Heights Educational Service, and I'm called Teacher Bernard. Today, we are going to handle biology, and the topic is monohybrid and the hybrid inheritance. In the previous video, we saw about the genes and how does the gene transfer characteristics in an organism. Today, we are going to see the pattern under which traits are being transferred from the parent to their offspring. And this occur in mainly two forms. One we call monohybrid and dihybrid inheritance. Now, let us begin with monohybrid. The word mono simply means one. Now, hybrid is a product of intermixing. In other words, we talk about monohybrid inheritance. This is what I mean. Talk about monohybrid. Monohybrid. Talk about monohybrid inheritance. It means the type of inheritance that involve inheritance of a single trait but controlled by two different alleles. It means the inheritance of a single trait controlled by two different alleles. Monohybrid inheritance simply means the inheritance of a single trait, but this trait is controlled by two different alleles. By this I mean, take an example. Talk about tallness. If now this tallness can be controlled by two different alleles, but it is a single trait. In other words, it is a single characteristic. By this characteristic is controlled by two different alleles. An allele, we said, simply means a gene. Now, take an example that we have in tallness, but we have tallness and shortness. This is a single trait. In other words, it is a characteristic of height in an organism, but there is tallness and short. This is a single characteristic. Someone can be short or tall, but this is all about height. Now, this gene may be dominant like this, and this may be recessive like this. It means that we are trying to inherit a single characteristic of an organ, but this characteristic is controlled by two alleles. In other words, it exists in two forms, in either tallness or shortness. So talk about monohybrid inheritance. Now, during monohybrid inheritance, only one characteristic is transferred from the parent to a mother. And here, in case we have a father who is tall, a father who is tall, and a mother who is short. Now, if these two come and mix, in case a father was heterozygous tall, a mother was homozygous short. Now you can see that we are trying to inherit a single trait, but this trait is controlled by two different alleles. Now, when you come with the crossings, we shall have what we call T. Now, this is what I mean by monohybrid inheritance, that a single trait of an organism is transformed from the parent to the mother by this trait. So from the parent to the offspring, by this trait is controlled by different alleles. And therefore, this one brings us what we call the Mendel's first law. The Mendel's first law. The Mendel's first law. This monohybrid takes us to Mendel's first law. Now, the first law of Mendel states that characteristics of organisms are controlled by a pair of factors. Mendel's considered genes to be factors, saying that a characteristic of an organism is controlled by a pair of genes or factors. Now, by these factors, only a single factor appear in the garment. This is what I mean. It says that a characteristic of an organ is controlled by a pair of factors, but only a single factor in the ga appear in the garment. This is the Mendel's first law of inheritance. For example, here we can see a father is tall, but being tall is controlled by two genes in the body. Now, during reproduction, only a pair of this gene is being transferred to the offspring. Now, for example, here, a parent may produce only T or single T. Now, this is a single of this that's going to be transformed to the offspring. Now, even a mother also brings a single of these two factors that combine to form that combine and appear in any organism or the offspring. This is what we call the Mendel's first law of inheritance. It is more explained by monohybrid inheritance, because in monohybrid inheritance, despite the fact that these two genes are in the body, only a single of it will appear into the offspring. Now, we are going to see what we call Mendel's experiment. Now, to verify this, Mendel carried out an experiment on the pear. In this experiment, he crossed two pears. One was tall, another was short, and he came out with the monohybrid inheritance ratio. For example, what he did, he got two pears. One was tall, another was short. For example, this is capital T, this was smaller T. Then he crossed. When he crossed, we get what we call the F1 offsprings. F1 offsprings. And all these F1 offsprings we are all tall. We can see they are tall, but they are heterozygous tall. Now, when he crossed these F1 offsprings with each other, he obtained a ratio. For example, if you cross this with this again, shall form the garment, which is T, and smaller T, then capital T, and smaller T. If you cross, may have here T, may have here T, this is T, smaller T, and smaller T. Now we can see that in this genotype, we having capital T. These offsprings will appear to be tall, and one of them will appear to be short. Now, this one gives us a ratio of 3:1, and this is the ratio obtained whenever there is monohybrid inheritance, according to Mendel's experiment. cutting.